Tesla is about to do something that seemed improbable just a few years ago, and the second half of 2026 promises to be the stage for one of the most talked about launches in the global automotive industry. The Model 2, the automaker's long-awaited entry-level electric car, is expected to hit the market with a proposition that will excite anyone who has ever considered themselves excluded from the world of electric vehicles because of the price. The estimated price range is below $15,000, a number that, if officially confirmed, completely redefines what is understood by an affordable electric car. And it is precisely this number that needs to be examined closely before any enthusiasm takes over the decision. When a brand the size of Tesla puts such a low price tag on a new vehicle, the first reaction is usually one of immediate excitement, especially among those on a tight budget. The average used car in the United States today costs between $25,000 and $28,000, and a brand-new economy sedan rarely goes for less than $22,000. Given this scenario, a Tesla for less than $15,000 seems almost unreal, almost too good to be true. And that's exactly where the problem lies. Any promise that seems too good to be true deserves a second look, especially when it comes to those who live on a fixed income and can't afford to make a mistake. There's a huge difference between the sticker price and the real cost of a car, and that difference is what separates a smart purchase from silent regret. The sticker price is paid only once, at the moment of signing the contract, and after that, it disappears from the buyer's life. The real cost, on the other hand, is paid every month, every year, for as long as the car remains in the garage. These are small amounts that accumulate almost invisibly: $60 here, $90 there, maintenance installments, insurance adjustments, tire expenses, and which, at the end of 5 or 6 years, add up to a value that often exceeds the very difference that seemed so advantageous at the beginning. To arrive at a price below $15,000, Tesla needed to cut costs at some significant point in the project, and all indications are that the deepest cut occurred in the most expensive component of any electric vehicle: the battery. The most consistent estimates point to a package between 40 and 50 kilowatt-hours, likely using lithium iron phosphate chemistry, a technology that trades maximum energy density for a lower cost per kilowatt-hour and a longer lifespan in charge cycles. This choice makes sense from an industrial standpoint and helps explain how the automaker managed to achieve such an aggressive price without completely compromising the vehicle's structure. With this battery size, the estimated range under normal usage conditions is somewhere between 230 and 260 miles, which equates to approximately 370 to 420 kilometers per charge. For most people, this is more than enough for daily use. The average American driver drives approximately 37 miles per day, and even in the most conservative estimate, the Model 2 would offer almost a full week of typical use before requiring a recharge. Under controlled conditions, with mild temperatures and relaxed driving, the car delivers exactly what it promises on paper, and the first tests conducted by specialized publications tend to reflect this reality well. The problem is that real life rarely happens under controlled conditions, and that's where the first hidden cost begins to appear. Imagine a 71-year-old retiree living in Michigan in the northern United States in the middle of January. He's not worried about acceleration, 0-100 km/h times, or any performance statistics. What he needs to know is whether his car will have enough range on a morning of 14 degrees below zero, with 38 miles ahead to reach his cardiologist's office. And it is precisely in this scenario that the battery shows the side that doesn't appear in advertisements and official presentations. There's a type of expense that doesn't arrive all at once, with that shock that makes a person immediately rethink their decision. It's a type of expense that creeps into the budget month after month, seemingly small, seemingly controllable, and only reveals its true size when the owner looks back and realizes how much money has left their account in the last 6 months. This is the second hidden cost of the Model 2, and perhaps the most treacherous of all, because it doesn't attract attention at the moment it happens. It simply happens, repeatedly, until it becomes an invisible part of the financial routine of someone who bought the car, believing they were saving money. The first component of this monthly leak is in the tires, and the explanation involves a basic characteristic of electric vehicles. Battery-powered cars are significantly heavier than their combustion engine counterparts, precisely because of the weight of the battery pack that powers them. Furthermore, the electric motor delivers maximum torque from the first moment of acceleration, without needing high rotation to achieve power. This combination of high weight and immediate torque creates much greater pressure on the rubber that touches the asphalt, and the result is accelerated wear compared to any similarly sized gasoline car. Tires that would last 60,000 kilometers on a regular sedan may need replacing much sooner on an electric vehicle. The important question, however, goes beyond durability. It has to do with the type of tire the Model 2 will require. If the vehicle accepts a standard size, like those found in any neighborhood store, in chains such as Costco, Walmart, or Discount Tire, the replacement cost is between $600 and $900 for a complete set. But if the automaker chooses to specify low rolling resistance tires, custom-made for electric vehicles, the scenario changes completely. A set of these can cost between $1,000 and $1,400, and even then, availability is limited in specialized stores. For the retiree who is used to taking their car to the corner tire shop, this simple change represents a loss of control over a decision that has always been in their hands. Imagine a typical Saturday morning scene. One of those where the only concern is grocery shopping and getting home before traffic gets heavy. The owner of a Model 2 is backing into a parking space when another driver, distracted, bumps their vehicle against the front fender of the electric car. Low speed, light contact, nothing that would even make the airbags think about deploying. The damage is purely cosmetic, a discreet dent accompanied by a scratch in the paint. In any gasoline-powered car, this would be resolved with a quick visit to the neighborhood mechanic, an estimate between $400 and $700, and 3 days without the keys. The story changes completely when the vehicle involved is an electric one. Depending exactly where the impact occurred in relation to the battery's protective structure and the frontal impact absorption zone, that same seemingly insignificant scratch can turn into a $4,500 repair bill. The reason has nothing to do with poor car quality. It has to do with the fact that repairing an electric vehicle requires specialized equipment, manufacturer-certified technicians, and parts that aren't available off any supplier's shelf. If the nearest Tesla-authorized repair shop is 90 miles away, the car could spend an entire week out of service, waiting for parts, waiting for an appointment, waiting for an available technician. This scenario isn't a pessimistic hypothesis designed to scare off those considering buying a Model 2. It's a documented pattern among current electric vehicle owners across the United States, and it's one of the main reasons why insurance companies have been raising their premiums. The repair ecosystem for battery-powered cars is still maturing, and this slowdown manifests itself unevenly across the country. In large urban centers like Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, or Miami, the network of certified repair shops has evolved considerably and offers reasonable turnaround times. However, in smaller cities, rural areas, and much of the Midwest and South, this infrastructure is still sparse, with limited coverage and wait times that border on uncomfortable. The concrete question that each interested party needs to answer before making any decision is simple, but it's often ignored by those dazzled by the price tag. If the Model 2 needed a non-emergency repair tomorrow, what would be the actual distance to the nearest Tesla service center from their home address? If the answer exceeds 40 miles, it ceases to be a simple inconvenience and becomes a form of dependency. It means needing to ask a child, a neighbor, or a friend for a ride. It means paying for a tow truck if the problem is more serious than it seemed. It means being without the car for longer periods than the repair itself would require, simply because of the logistics of getting the vehicle to where someone can fix it. Before any reservation is made, before any pre-sale link is clicked, there is a list of questions that need to be answered with real numbers, not optimistic estimates. This list acts as a personal filter, a way to transform excitement into rational decision-making, and it's useful for anyone considering the Model 2 as their next vehicle. Those who answer all questions clearly, based on their own reality, will have the necessary information to choose with confidence. Those who cannot answer confidently are still gathering data, and in that case, the best course of action is to wait until each gap is filled. The first question involves charging, and it's more crucial than it seems. Does the buyer have a dedicated place to charge the car at home? A garage with an available outlet? A backyard where they can install a home charger? Or do they rely exclusively on public charging points scattered throughout the city? The difference between the two scenarios is enormous. Charging at home costs pennies per mile driven and happens while the car rests overnight, requiring no extra effort. Relying on public charging points means paying higher rates, facing queues during peak hours, and losing control over how long the car is available for use, turning a simple routine into a daily logistical challenge. The second question concerns the climate of the region where the car will be located. What is the regular minimum temperature during winter at the buyer's address? And more importantly, has he already calculated what a 25% reduction in range would mean in practice for the typical trips he makes every week? The third question requires a quick call to the current insurance company, requesting a specific quote for the Model 2, based on the driver's actual profile, registered address, and claims history. No guesses, no market averages. The number that matters is the one that will actually appear on the monthly bill, and it can only come from the company that will issue the policy. The fourth question concerns tires, and it asks for simple research before purchase. What is the estimated cost of a complete replacement set for the Model 2, and where can this set be purchased? Is there the option of taking the car to a regular repair shop, like those found in any average American city, or does the vehicle require a specialized shop that might be miles away? The fifth question returns to the topic of service, directly asking what the exact distance is, in miles, between the buyer's home and the nearest Tesla service center. These two numbers, tire cost and distance to the repair shop, determine a significant part of the ownership experience over the next 5 years. All the analysis done so far converges on one practical point, and that point is the division of buyers into 3 well-defined groups, each with its own characteristics and each requiring a different approach to the launch. There is no single answer that works for everyone, and any video, article, or salesperson presenting the Model 2 as a universal solution is ignoring the financial reality of those about to put real money on the table. What exists is an individual analysis based on each person's specific circumstances, and the result of this analysis is what defines which of the 3 groups the prospective buyer truly fits into. The first group consists of those who should seriously consider buying, and they have quite specific characteristics. We're talking about people who live in cities where daily commutes are short, who live in homes with a real possibility of installing home charging, and who are driving a vehicle that's already entering the phase where repairs are becoming unpredictable. When the current car starts requiring frequent visits to the mechanic, when parts begin to fail in sequence, and when each month brings a new unpleasant surprise to the budget, the Model 2 comes into play as a financially defensible alternative. For this specific profile, the price below $15,000 can truly represent a reduction in monthly transportation costs over the next 5 years. The second group comprises those who must wait, and this is probably the largest group interested in the car. These are people who live in regions with harsh winters, where the drop in range and freezing temperatures can compromise important journeys, or who do not yet have the means to install home charging, or who have not even requested a real insurance quote, or who have not yet checked the distance to the nearest service center. For those who fall into any of these situations, waiting does not mean losing the opportunity. It means allowing early adopters to absorb the learning curve, generating real data that will guide a much more informed decision a few months after the launch. The third group is perhaps the most difficult to accept emotionally, but it exists and needs to be honestly acknowledged. These are the people who should simply pass by the launch without getting carried away by the collective excitement. Those who already drive a reliable, fully paid-off gasoline vehicle running without significant mechanical problems are in a financial position that few buyers can achieve. Trading an already paid-off asset for a promise that comes with installments, more expensive insurance, high tire costs, and dependence on distant repair shops represents a move in the opposite direction of financial security. A paid-off and functioning car is an asset. Trading an asset for debt requires a much more solid justification than the simple desire to have something new. There's an important lesson hidden in Tesla's own recent history, and it's worth revisiting at this moment of anticipation surrounding the Model 2. When the Model 3 arrived on the market in 2017, most of the initial coverage revolved around what the car promised on paper: range, price, production capacity, scalability ambitions. Experts and analysts spent about 18 months debating whether the numbers added up, whether the automaker could deliver on its promises, and whether the concept would survive its first harsh winter. The truth, however, only began to emerge when real owners came on the scene with their accounts of daily use, their cost spreadsheets, and their experiences in different climates and regions. What these early owners reported over the following years completely changed the understanding of the product. Maintenance costs proved lower than gasoline equivalents, resale value remained stronger than expected compared to other premium sedans, and the driving experience delivered greater consistency than the technical specifications suggested. The Model 3 ended up becoming the best-selling premium sedan in the United States at one point, not because of the initial advertising, but because reality over time proved different from what skeptics had predicted on launch day. This trajectory is often used as proof that Tesla always delivers, but perhaps it's more honest to draw a different lesson from it. The lesson is that judgments made on launch day, whether positive or negative, often lose sight of the bigger picture. The Model 3 was underestimated by many analysts when it debuted. Other products in the automotive market were overestimated over the same years. The recurring pattern is that initial coverage always works with incomplete information, including the analysis presented in this material. The first 24 months of actual vehicle ownership are those that answer the questions that no estimate, however well-founded, can accurately anticipate. And these are precisely the questions that matter to those who live off fixed income and need to carefully protect every dollar. Some of these questions will only be answered with time. Will the Model 2 battery maintain its capacity after 2 or 3 consecutive winters in cold regions? Will repair costs after minor incidents stabilize at manageable levels? Or will they follow the upward trend seen with other electric vehicles?